Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com. And when it comes to video games, developers want players to experience as much of their game's story as possible. After all, they do want us to see things through to the closing credits, and so put all of their best, most important parts in the main plot. But sometimes, just sometimes, they'll hide a little extra something in there too, often requiring players to perform specific actions, talk to certain characters at a specific location, or to search every nook and cranny to uncover some fascinating piece of environmental storytelling. These stories are the perfect reward for intrepid players willing to dig a little deeper. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 secret video game stories you need to find. Number 10. Red Dead Redemption 2, MIRIAM WEGNER. So Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2 is a gigantic game in terms of both success and sheer scale. In addition to its epic main narrative, its beautiful and vast open world is stuffed with plenty of secrets to discover. From an encounter with a vampire to a ghost in the swamps, many of the game's most fascinating aspects can be found within its environmental storytelling, with one of the most curious centering around the mystery of Emerald Ranch and the girl in the window. You can get the first snippet of this tragic tale after encountering a woman who requests a ride to the ranch. On the way, she'll tell you about a girl only seen in the ranch's house window, a bullying father, and a saloon full of blood and bullet holes. To find out more about the fate of the girl named Miriam, a letter addressed to her can be found in a mail cart in Cumberland Forest. Reading it highlights that she's grieving the loss of her lover Joshua, who died in an air quotes horrible way. However, his tombstone claims that he was accidentally shot. All of this suggests that it was Miriam's father who killed Joshua and is keeping his daughter locked inside. Number 9. Halo 3 ODST, Sadie's Story. In games, journal entries and audio logs are a convenient way for developers to flesh out their worlds with more information and detail for thorough players to find. While this storytelling device is generally used for nudging players in the right direction or offering some handy clues, some games go one step beyond and include entire narratives just in these collectibles. One such example lies within the criminally underrated Halo 3 ODST with the incredible Sadie's Story. Told over a series of 30 parts found on data terminals, this narrative, complete with its own stylish slideshow presentation, focuses on the plight of the eponymous 19-year-old during the Covenant's initial invasion as she searches for her father amid the chaos. Containing some truly phenomenal vocal performances, Sadie's Story hits many emotional and often harrowing beats as each entry expands upon the youngster's journey. You can listen to her tale yourself within the new Mombasa section of the game, but in a clever twist, the final audio log can only be acquired after finding the first 29 during the mission Data Hive. If you need another reason to play this game, it should be to seek out this story. Number 8. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Owl's Betrayal. Although Sekiro Shadows Die Twice diverges slightly from Software's tried and tested Soulsborne formula, uncovering everything this game has to offer is still just as elusive and sometimes controller-breakingly difficult. The majority of the game's narrative can be seen working your way through the main plot, but to experience the full story, certain steps have to be taken. If done correctly, you'll be granted access to a new area where you'll discover a subplot that otherwise you completely miss. To start on this path, you'll first need to eavesdrop on certain conversations after defeating Al for the first time. You'll need to stand in certain places, so it's not actually obvious that this can be done and is therefore easily missed. But if you do manage to meet these conditions, you'll be given a special item used to enter another area and lock swords with Al once again in one of the toughest boss fights of the entire game. Establishing that it was in fact Al who launched the initial attack on the Hirata estate, the catalyst for the game's event, and was the one who betrayed you, makes this secret narrative utterly jaw-dropping to experience. Number 7. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, The Other Castle. Hailed as one of the best entries in the iconic Castlevania series, the cult classic 10th entry Symphony of the Night marked a return to form for the series when it arrived in 1997. Symphony of the Night was the direct sequel to Rondo of Blood and saw players take control of Alucard as you fight your way through Dracula's castle, battling witches, Medusa heads and giant wolves to get to that all-important final boss against Richter seemed to be the main goal. Or at least that's what you thought, because this, as it turned out, wasn't the game's real ending. In fact, you were only halfway done. To access the rest of the game, you'd need to equip a pair of holy glasses that you can only get if you've already acquired another 2 items that are hidden throughout the castle. This time, instead of fighting Richter, the glasses let you see a green orb floating above his head. Destroy that, and you'll be granted access to an upside-down version of Dracula's castle. Known as the Inverted Castle, this new map is full of tougher enemies and challenges that lead up to the real final encounter of the game with Dracula himself. Number 6. BRAID, Constellation. As far as game concepts go, Jonathan Blow's time-bending platformer BRAID is pure genius. Conceptualized as a critique of contemporary video game tropes, BRAID sees players as seemingly everyday protagonist Tim on a mission to rescue a princess from the clutches of an evil monster. To do so, players are tasked with solving a series of increasingly difficult puzzles utilizing a time rewind mechanic. Although the specifics about the game's plot and broader themes are purposefully left ambiguous, players have the chance to get a little more insight if they're able to collect 8 stars that are scattered throughout the game in order to complete the Andromeda constellation that is visible near the protagonist's house. But if you thought completing the main game puzzles were difficult, well, brace yourself for a challenge that is guaranteed to eat up hours of your time. No, really, just to get some of the stars, you'll need to wait hours of real time that could be spent playing the game for a cloud to slowly drift across the level in order to use it as a platform in order to just get one of these stars. It will take a lot of skill and patience to collect every star, but I promise you, the effort is definitely worth it. Number 5. Dark Souls, Saving Solaire. Dark Souls is known primarily for 2 things, its notorious difficulty and its richly detailed world building. However, if you want to uncover any of the game's lore or complete any side quests, then you'll need to do most of the groundwork yourself because this game is more concerned with killing you repeatedly than giving you helpful quest markers. Arguably the best and most tragic of all the hidden plot lines in the original game is actually also the trickiest to complete, and that is saving Solaire of Astora. A jolly knight about to embark on his own quest, you'll first encounter this gloriously incandescent sunlight warrior after defeating the first main boss. To continue his quest, you'll need to talk to him again at bonfires at Anor Londo, the Sunlight Altar, and Lost Izalith, where he'll eventually become more pessimistic about his quest. Progressing normally, however, the next encounter with Solaire will actually be a fight because he's become corrupted by a parasite. To save him, players must have achieved a certain level in a hidden covenant to unlock a secret door needed to find and kill the parasite. Saving Solaire will then allow you to summon him for the final boss fight, giving him the redemption that he deserves. Praise the sun indeed. Number 4. Skyrim, Choose Your Own Adventure. Bursting with countless amounts of content, beloved RPG Skyrim has no shortage of quests for players to lose themselves in. Alongside the main quests and dragon slaying, players can spend years searching this fantastical world to complete every task the game has in store for keen adventurers. Ranging from retracing your night following a terrible hangover, solving the riddle of a demonic gauntlet, and helping a ghost in a haunted inn, there are more secret tales in Skyrim than sweet rolls or arrows in the knee. However, one hidden story that you've likely skimmed past during your time in Tamriel comes from a pretty unlikely source, a choose-your-own-adventure book titled Kolb and the Dragon. Found in a multitude of locations across the game, this 17-page tale chronicles the adventure of the titular Nord warrior on a quest to vanquish an evil dragon that is threatening his village. Despite its short length, this little diversion is surprisingly engrossing, offering various options to choose from as new obstacles and paths enter the equation. Even after choosing wisely to ensure Kolb and his fellow villagers get the happy ending they surely deserve, there are plenty of other outcomes to find. And you know what? You've likely already picked this up at least once, so dust it off and go have a read. Number 3. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Ghosts of the Past. Even before playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it's possible to miss an entire subplot if you choose to kill fellow Witcher Letho at the climax of the previous game. Likewise, new players will also miss out on the story in question if they inform the steward they killed him near the start of the third game as well. However, if you were kind enough to spare this monster hunter, you'll be able to catch up with him while taking a contract in Lindenvale. You'll encounter him who'll explain that he's been on the run from bounty hunters since they last met. If players decide not to part ways with him, his story can actually be continued in the quest Ghosts of the Past, where players will help him with his little bounty hunter problem. Revealing more about the pair's relationship, witnessing these gravelly voiced witchers chat is reason enough to keep him alive. And as an added treat for not killing a fellow witcher, an option is made available to recruit him for the epic battle against the ghostly Wild Hunt later in the game, and who would want to miss that? Number 2. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the FAWCETT Expedition. In the recent Tomb Raider trilogy, titular adventurer/archaeologist Lara Croft has had the chance to visit locations that historians could only have ever dreamed of. As well as all of the gruesome takedowns and actual tomb raiding that she'll be doing in these places, she also spends a lot of her time doing actual archaeological work by picking up various relics and documents throughout her travels. More than just experience points and padding, the writers at Crystal Dynamics put in a lot of effort to make each discovery worth the trouble it took to find them, insofar that every collection could actually be considered their own short stories. They're all worth your time, but one of the most memorable comes in the form of the FAWCETT's expedition in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Found in the jungle section, this series of documents account for the doomed expedition through the jungle in the 1920s. Told from the perspective of each of the three members, including a father and son, we get the full understanding of their situation as they become lost and increasingly more desperate. Helping to establish the jungle setting as a treacherous environment early on, these are collectibles that every aspiring Tomb Raider should definitely seek out. And number 1, Subnautica, Into the Deep. Crash landing on an aquatic alien planet, Subnautica quite literally drops players into the deep end as it asks them to piece together a central mystery to learn about the planet's history alongside finding a way to escape. With no conventional narrative to speak of, exploration is key to unraveling the secrets of this game, and to help you on your way, there are plenty of audio logs and documents to uncover that point you in the right direction and provide helpful survival tips. One of the most important is a series of entries chronicling 3 survivors of the doomed ship Degassi, which crashed around a decade before the game's events. Centering around a father, son, and hot-headed mercenary, these logs follow the group's own tale of survival as they gradually venture further into the depths. With each character brilliantly written and voice acted, this story is brought vividly to life. However, if you want to piece together all of the events and discover their fates, you'll need to search high and low for all of the relevant data entries. It's possible to finish the game without finding a single one of them, but why would you want to do that when there's such a juicy story to be told? And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 secret video game stories you need to find. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it'd be great to see you over there. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. I hope you're treating yourself well, with love and respect, my friend, because you deserve all the best things in life, and don't let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, alright? You're a massive ledge. Now go out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.